Probably won't use this one for a good long time, but sewing is super fun, so to keep with it, you could totally use one. Lots of people have these at home. They have a home version of this that sits on a table, and it has all these different spools of thread. So you'll know that it's a serger most of the time because there's so many spools. But the special thing about this is that it also has a little knife, and it cuts the fabric for you, which sounds a little scary, and it is something to be wary of, as in you don't want to stick your fingers in there, but it's also really useful. So you know how when you're sewing, you don't want all this frayed fabric just sitting out there, because then your clothes would fall apart.
We cut it, but it's not still perfect, but we cut it, some of it.
Exactly. And so you can cut it, or you can sew it to another piece of fabric so it's hidden, or like what I assume at the bottom of your dress is, they'll do these other things in here where there's serging, and they make it so that this edge is finished, even though they didn't put it inside somewhere. So sometimes they'll make a dress that's basically two dresses put together, and so it's like a lining.
Yeah, like this one, right?
Well, this one I bet has, so this is called a cover stitch, but I bet these seams are serged, just like my pants.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Is this one like really hard to use?
No, it's hard to thread. So this one you can learn to thread in maybe 10 minutes. This one took me a long time to learn to thread. But if you have someone else, like a teacher there to help you thread it, it's really not that hard. You really just sit down and
have you ever seen threads like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just basically like a little spool of thread, but times a lot. So there's a lot of thread. They even have bigger cones than this. They have really, really big ones that they use in factories. But we just have the medium guys. But this one, it's a little different because you have one foot that, well, we don't have the pressure on right now, but this foot will lift this presser foot for you. And this one is actually controlled by a special air that comes through.
Oh, wow.
I don't have it turned on right now because I haven't needed it. And it makes a whooshing noise, so it's kind of annoying if you don't need it. But it's basically these little tubes, like you see these clear tubes?
Yeah.
They go all the way back to that closet, and there's this big air compressor in there. So it basically just makes a bunch of really compact air go through all of these things. So it makes these like levers and pulleys work so that it can lift the presser foot.
Yeah.
But I can do it without lifting my foot. So I would lift my foot, and then this pedal, it only does one thing. It just says go. So I put my fabric under there. I make sure my hands are out of the way, and it.
That's so cool.
Cut all of that, and
Is there a way to slow it down, or is that?
oh yeah, it can go way slower than that. See, I could, if I just put my foot on really gently, just like in a car, one day you'll see if you push on the pedal just a little bit, and go really slowly. And I can even, a little trick that I learned, you can put your foot on the back, and it's kind of like a counterbalance, like it pushes, it makes it easier to push softly. So I can go really slow. These guys are a little harder to make go really, really slow because they're industrial. But home sergers, you can go nice and slow. So I go nice and slow. And then these, you have to cut the thread, especially because if I just pulled on this, it might break my needles, which, I mean, the same with home sewing machines, but it's just a little bit more complicated to fix the problem. But there's what it looks like.
That's really cool.
And so now all of this fraying is all contained. It's kind of fun. Yeah. And then it cut this whole thing off. And this little knife right there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Is it really sharp? Is it like big, or is it pretty small?
It's pretty small. It's
I
actually
see
this little arm right there.
Oh, that's it?
That's the only thing that has a knife on the end. It's this little piece.
I see it.
And
That's
it
really
moves up and down, and it's kind of like a saw.
Yeah.
And then this little arm is just to guide your fabric so you can see exactly where it's going. Because with this guy, you can sort of see where your fabric is going a little bit more, but because you have all these pieces, it's kind of hard to tell. So it's like a guide.
It's really cute.
Yeah,
I've
kinda
really never
fun.
seen these before. It's really cool.
Well,